Juicers, I am going to show you your first steps in creating your website on Wix. I've logged into my account here. You'll have to do that on your own. And then I'm going to click Create a New Site. They're going to walk you through what kind of website you think you want to do. I'm going to select Other, but obviously you can select a category. You do not want to choose the Let ADI create a website for you. That's totally awesome for someone who is not creative like you. We're going to choose a template here so that you can create the website by yourself with the Wix editor program. Here we are now at the templates. I am going to look for one in particular that I liked that I thought would be good to start with. It's called Food Stylist. There we go. Here's one that I'm suggesting. You can hover over here and you can actually see each template if you're curious about it, see how it works. So you can look in the view part and it's loading. So you can watch how it works. You can see how you can click on stuff. You can scroll down and see the different strips that they've used and how they've put them together. That's a really nice way for you to figure out, yeah, that would look good if I did the contact form at the bottom, or yes, I have 3 different projects. Maybe you just have 2 projects. You can always adjust these later. But in general, take a look at maybe the font style. Just generally, it looks like something that would work for you. And if that's the case, as it is in this one, you're going to go up here and click Edit This Site. That will basically make a copy of that template. And now it's yours to change and stylize and add content exactly the way you like it. This is the little mesmerizing waiting for it animation that Wix does for you. All right, awesome. So here we are. Let me just show you a little bit around the page here. Up here is your own toolbar. So this is where you're going to save your website. That does not mean you're going to publish it. Those are 2 totally different things. Saving just means it saves what you're doing. Publish will send it to out into the internet. Then you've got your pages here. This is showing you where your pages are, your site information, any kind of tools, help, and that's if you want to upgrade. Those are all for later. Here on the top is called the header portion. I'm pointing to, it's in orange to show you that it is different from the body, which is in blue. So here's the header, and the contents that are of the header are usually a logo or your font name and a menu. And then the header stays on every single page, and you can set it to do that accordingly, but generally the header stays on each page. It's your basic navigational feature for your users. So as you can see, we've gone to another page here, but the header is still exactly the same. Let's go back to our home page, which is the first landing site where people are going to be coming in. I'm going to cross this out. Now we've got our body here. I may have mentioned strips, which is the basic building block of a website. I think it's the easiest one to work with because you can actually contain several elements within one strip and move that strip down or around as an entire unit. So in this strip, the background is this photograph. We have a container box here. We have an image that was brought in here and some text boxes here. You can see I'm just clicking on them. This is just like working on any design program, or even, I think it's easier than Word or your pages in Macintosh software. So then we've got another little box here, and we've got a text here. Then just moving down a little bit more, this is another strip, and this strip has been divided into columns. So we can see here it's got 3 columns, and on each column you can change whatever you want within that column. You can make this a background image instead of a color, and then ultimately you can switch these columns around. So again, it's a really nice way of organizing your information into blocks that can be moved all as one. You don't have to worry about selecting each individual item within something and moving it around. Here's another strip, and this is just a plain strip with a photographic background. We have another strip that's they're just showing as a paragraph with color in the background. And then at the bottom here, this is the footer, which might be a little hard to see, but you can see it over here. It's an orange again, and it's called the footer. And again, these have all the different elements. You get to choose which elements you would like to have. It often has a contact form. It often has the copyright section down here. And so you can change that all around. But on each page, if for some reason you sent someone to your portfolio page, the contact information would still be on the bottom, and the navigational information, user information, will still be on the top. So those are headers and footers and the body text here. I want to point out just some basic, let's see, are they going to show us those border lines? A lot of times they'll tell you how it might be viewed on another laptop or another computer. They'll give you some border lines for that, or guidelines, I should say. And this is actually, if you're curious about this is called an anchor. I'm going to go over that later, but that's what that is. So if you were going to take this template and start changing it with your own content, you would do something like click on this box, and now you can see that it's highlighted. It's got a handlebar here, and it's also got this arrow with a line bar. When you move that, it moves in the entire section of the website. So if there were any strips underneath it, it's going to move everything together. Whereas if you were to hold on to this handlebar, it would just make this a little bit smaller. There are my border lines. That's what I wanted to show you. That's the that's the bottom of the header. That's the bottom border line of the header. So I do want this to go all the way up to the top. Design-wise, I think that looks better, but I just wanted to show you that's how you change the size of your strip. You can adjust that as needed. So let's say we're not selling chocolate things, so we're going to change the strip background. Click on this. So as soon as you click on an element, it's going to give you an additional menu of options that you can do to customize that. You go into strip background, you're going to go into the settings. You can say, I'm going to change my image here. You click that. Or if you wanted it just as a solid color, as you saw in that purple one down there, you go into settings. You can say if you want that to be translucent, if you want a color behind it, you can change the scrolling effect. And I don't want to kind of overwhelm you, but that is where you're going to see a lot of adjustable options here. They're going to show you their options as well. They have fantastic stock photography, as I've mentioned before, and you can also add a video. So that would be to change the background. Here you have what's called a container. No, I don't want to change the strip background. We want to go into the container box. Interesting. It's not letting me click on that. There we go. It is letting me click on that. See that pink line in the middle as I moved that around? See that pink line? It's showing me, these are nice little guidelines. It's actually showing me that is centered on the page. So if it's kind of over here and it's not quite centered, you're going to want to move it over until you see the pink line. There we go, pink line. And if you want it centered within that strip, you can move it up and down, and it's going to show you a horizontal centering as well. It's easy to get a little bit lost depending on the size of your screen. So this is a container box, and as you noticed, when I moved that around, it moved all of this text and the line and the design elements with it. Again, a great feature. You don't have to select every single aspect that you want to have moved. You can just select the container box. If you want to change the design of that, again, I'm selecting the container box. Here we are in the design element, the little paintbrush there. Here's some themed boxes according to your theme. If you hover over it, you can watch it change. Or you can do more boxes, and they're going to give you lots of designs. Or you can completely customize this. And here you can see what these look like. Like this one has rounded edges and a little bit of beveling. Here it has those little banner options. You can change things around from the aspect of the border. Let's go back to our original one, preset designs. Now since I just changed that, it's offering me as a new option, but I'm going to go back to the themed box that was originally in it. I'm still going to say I want to customize it. You can go through here and change the fill color, change the border, round the corners, add a shadow. These are standardized up here. This is where you can start customizing it exactly the way you want it. You can change the color to your style color, your branding color. That's just an example of that. Again, here we're going to look at some text. It's saying edit text. And this gives you an option to go through, change the color, font size, font. Here is your theme. This is also changeable. As soon as you decide that your theme is going to be a different font, you can actually update that theme and it'll change it throughout your website. Here's an image box. Again, us customizing, changing, adding animation. There's a lot of great features you can do. Keep it simple for now. Again, that's why I suggest the templates, and just start adjusting according to the template. Trust that these are designed by really qualified and really knowledgeable web designers. Adjusting it is only customizing it to what you need, but definitely understand that what they've put forth here is probably already a great idea. So customizing it and tweaking it a little bit is no problem at all, but don't overwhelm yourself and feel like you have to completely change everything about it. Now, I showed you the header, the footer, the body text, the menu here, and if you want to add anything, let's say you want to add a button. This is actually text with a link, but let's say you want to add a button as your call to action. You're going to click the add, and in this section is all of the menu of options of features that you can add from your images. That's how you would add a new image, adding a container box, and I'm going to select adding a button just so that I can show you. When you hover over, you're going to see thematic buttons that have been installed already with this template again, which you can customize. Let's say I'm going to choose this one because it's really dynamic and it's purple. It's part of the themed button. I'm just going to click it once, and boom, it's right there. You can move it around. See how this is, it says attached to box up in the top there, and the box is shaded a little bit of blue. That's saying it's going to include it in this container box, and that way whenever you move the container box, it'll be in good shape. If you don't want it in the container box, move it out of the container box. Here we are. We've seen our centering lines. You can put it right there. Change the text of the button so that it doesn't say button. Change the link. You can send it to a page. You can send it to a PDF download that you've uploaded to your website, or to another web link. You can change the layout, the design, and again the animation. You've got lots of options here. So that is kind of a first look at how the Wix website system, design system, works for you. And so you're going to want to get started, mess around with it a little bit. You can always use this little button here, this little undo button. If you don't like what you did, just keep clicking that until it's back to the way you wanted it. And keep going and enjoy yourself.